Don't that music just kind of reminds you of like some movie from the mid '80s? You can see that during a montage of like the Lost Boys or something. I mean, that music is just so '80s.
It was
Hey
the backing
everybody,
track from Maximum Overdrive.
yeah, everybody, we're back. We're live. Hope everybody has had a good week so far. My week has been crazy. I work in the IT industry, and we've had a crazy week. So it's good if you've had a good crazy week, and even if you've not had a crazy week, it's a good time to be on a Wednesday night live. This was our old night that we used to do lives on Wednesday night, and so it's good to be back. And we are here, and why we, I mean the people on the screen with me. Um, we're here to do the track versus track for the results video for Kiss versus Dress to Kill. This is one that we never did before in the past, and got Carla down below me here. And if you are new to the channel, you may not recognize Carla. If you're old to the channel, been here, I think it's been. We were talking before the show. It's been about 2 years since Carla was last on, and we made about over the course of about a year, 9 months or so to a year, we made about 13 videos together, at least 13 that I know of, doing a bunch of track versus tracks just like this. And so we've been talking in the background for the last little bit, at least 9 months to a year, about getting back together and doing a video. And then we got the newbie here, but has been with me for over a year, Rob.
Yeah. Wow.
So already over a year. The time's just gone by. I've not run him off yet.
I went to a Kiss show with you, and
Yes.
I made you go all the way to Chicago. So how about that?
Yeah, Carla, did you see that video where me and Rob actually met and got to
I
meet?
did. I was so jealous that I wasn't a part of that little group, but yeah, that's pretty cool that this channel was able to not reunite, but unite some people. That's pretty cool.
Well, the next time that we get an opportunity to all get together, we'll make sure that we at least throw an invite your way, so you have an opportunity to at least say yes or say no, whichever one.
Please.
But
yes.
yeah, because
the two of us could just drive up I-75 and have coffee.
I know. It's insane how close we are. We had no idea how close we lived to get,
Right.
Yeah, not so much anymore because I moved, but before we were like maybe a half hour away from each other.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here I am just in now let me ask you, let's talk about, we drag feet at the beginning of this because we're giving people an opportunity, and I see you guys in the chat, and we are going to be recognizing you guys here in just a minute. But has it got cold for everybody else again?
No.
No? God, it was like 80 degrees like 4 days ago. And just before I went on vacation, it was 80 degrees. And I went on vacation for 4 days. We went to Tennessee. It was cold there. Like I'm talking about a high of 50. And then we came back, and it's just like it followed us. And so it was like a high of like in the low 60s here.
That's warm for us.
Yeah,
that is.
We've had rain all week, and it's supposed to get back up in the 80s. It's supposed to get back up in the 80s by the weekend. So I'm happy about that. So
during eclipse day, we were in totality, and we had 75-degree weather the day of the eclipse. And like today, I think it was 62, 64 with rain off and on. So it's dropped a little in temperature, but this week has been the warmest it's been in some time.
Yeah, the most consistent too. Like it's not like 60 one day and 40 the next. Like it's been nice all week. So we'll take your 60-degree cold weather any day.
Right. That sounds like a heat wave here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, y'all knew what y'all were getting into living up north. Anyway, come on. I'm down in the south, you get below 70, that's cold for me. So we got some people in the stream. We want to talk about who we got in the stream. Let's see what everybody is saying. Let's look over here. So we got Space Ace Ron showing up, and we got Super Kiss here, and we got Angelo. Angelo said he forgot to put his votes in, but he thinks the debut is going to win. I mean, we'll see. These are two really good albums against each other, but we will see. We'll talk about that during our initial predictions, which one we think is going to win. I'm pretty sure it's going to be resounding, but we will see. Super Kiss talking to Angelo, and then RBTE talking. I'm just popping these up. I guess I need to see what people are saying. If they say, in my head, he's trash, be like, okay, Luke. Let's see. Nick C says, welcome, Rob, Brant, and Carla. Gregory Peg. A lot of familiar faces here, a lot of faces that's been here a while. And then Super Kiss said, yeah, it's gone back to winter weather. That happens a lot in the South. We will have 80-degree days. We call it fake spring. And then we call it late winter because we're kind of right now going through late winter. It's like we all expected. It's like spring. It starts warming up. We get a couple 80-degree days. And then the next thing you know, we're back down in the low 30s at night and struggling to get into the 50s during the day. And then it does that until it gets to about the end of April. And then the beginning of May, it's like it goes from being 70 to being like 90. And it's 90 to 100 all the way through early September, mid-September, late or early October. It's just how it works down here. And then it gets humid. But the bugs aren't out yet. The bees are starting to come out. But the insects and like mosquitoes and stuff aren't out yet. So anyway, that's enough weather. That's enough. Brought to you by
now back to traffic.
How's the traffic for you, Rob?
We're looking just on I-75 today. No, I'm sorry.
All right. So Kiss versus Dress to Kill. The debut versus Dress to Kill. What I want to do is go around. We're going to go clockwise, and you guys are welcome to chime in on the chat. We'll put you up there. Rob, what I want to know is first, give me and I really didn't set you guys up for this, so you get to think on your feet live. But give me your thoughts on your overview of both Kiss and Dress to Kill. Which one is your personal favorite between the two, and which one you think is going to win here tonight?
A little shameless plug for our channel. We just reviewed this on our channel, so my thoughts are fresh with this. Not so much Dress to Kill, but let me start with the first Kiss album. I like the Kiss album. Something I said on our channel. I love all of these songs, but I love them on another album.
On a live.
on a live, or on any other release. I think we'll probably talk as we go through it. Dress to Kill was one of those when I became a Kiss fan. It was the album that I drug my feet like, oh, I want to go get Creatures. I want to go get Destroyer and, Asylum, and like, oh, I'll get Dress to Kill. And I remember looking at the track listing and go, I only know a couple of these songs. Once I got the album, it was one that it was just on constant rotation. I thought, this is a really good album. And in the pantheon of the Kiss albums, I think this one doesn't come up in conversation enough sometimes. So of the two, it's actually my favorite of the two.
Dress to Kill is your favorite?
Yeah, Dress to Kill is my favorite of the two.
Okay, so which one do you think is going to win here tonight?
Because the 50th anniversary of the first album just happened, I think Kiss set list will dictate that the first album, but I'm going to go on a limb and say Dress to Kill is going to win by a narrow margin. Very narrow, but I'm going to go with Dress to Kill.
All right. What about you, Carla?
I totally agree that I think Dress to Kill is an overlooked album. I think it's overshadowed by Destroyer and then Alive. It's that album before the big albums, right? So I think it gets overshadowed a little bit. It's a good album. It really is. But I think some of these songs they sound better on different, they just would sound better on a different album, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I think that the debut is going to win in a landslide.
Yeah, probably.
I think there's a few songs on Dress to Kill that really, really carry the album. But overall, just in terms of the entire album and the entire flow of the album, I'm going to say that the debut album is just going to do better up against Dress to Kill. But both great albums. Love them both.
my thoughts on both albums, and then which one I think is going to win. I wish that the first Kiss album and the second Kiss album had the production that the third Kiss album has. Because one of the things that it's the production value. And Rob, yeah, and you guys definitely need to check out after this is over. Go check out Wrap Between the Eyes, their review of the album, the first Kiss album. There is just like some performance issues and some speed issues and some production issues. I mean, Peter's toms don't even sound like they're tuned. There's just some real, if you really listen to the first Kiss album and the second Kiss album with a critical musical ear, a production musical ear, you hear all kinds of flubs. But I mean, it's rock and roll, it's not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to be polished, but I love the production of Dress to Kill.
Mhm.
I just think that Dress to Kill suffers from the fact that Kiss had been basically on the road since they recorded the first album. You got to remember, they put these 3 albums out. They put out 30 songs in a period of a year and a half.
Mhm.
And you got bands that don't even do that every 2 years or 3 years or 4 years now. Bands, they put out an album every 2 years or whatever. And so there was some songs that was being written for the third album as they were recording it, and they were having to pull some of the old horses out of the stable to kind of give Dress to Kill a little bit of legs as far as the quality of the songs. But if you could have took the production value that, and I doubt it was, Bill Aucoin or that did it or whatever, Neil Bogart that did it, whoever is credited as helping to produce. Honestly, I think it was Gene and Paul. I think Gene and Paul were starting to figure out the way they wanted things to sound, and they had some different engineers. And Kerner and Wise, I just do not. They were young, and I just don't think they were good producers. What if Eddie Kramer would have been like what George Morano or whatever was to the Beatles, and would have produced all of Kiss's albums from the first album, doing the demo and then going on and producing all of them? I think we'd have been telling a little bit different story when it comes to the first 2 Kiss albums and maybe, all of them. But having said all that, I do think that the songs on the first Kiss album are stronger. And there's a lot of that nostalgia when it comes to the first Kiss album. So I think that the first Kiss album is going to win here, but I don't think it's going to be a runaway. Just due to the way that track versus track works, it all comes down to the pairings. And there's some easy pairings on here, and there's some difficult pairings on here. I noticed in the comments whenever I was doing the tallying of the votes that there were some people saying, "Oh God, I can't believe you made me choose between this song and this song." It's like choosing your favorite kid or whatever. And so I was just like, well, sometimes it's easy for me to choose my favorite kid. So they make it easy on me. So it just comes down to the pairings sometime. So what we're going to do is we are going to just kind of go around, and we're going to talk about, start with Rob. Rob's going to give his prediction of who he thinks is going to win between Strutter and Room Service. That's track 1. And then he's going to tell his pick. And then Carla's going to do her prediction and tell her pick. And I'll do my prediction and tell my pick. And then I will read off the list of names of who chose which song. And then we'll have a tally. And that's how we're going to do this. So, Rob, what about you? First track, Strutter and Room Service.
By the length of Paul Stanley's microphone cord that he would spin around his neck at the concert and back again, Strutter by a landslide. In an alternate universe, I'm waving the banner for Room Service, but that intro for Strutter is so iconic. Even non-drummers can figure out that drum beat. As soon as you hear it, you go, "Oh, that's Kiss." So yeah, Strutter. And my pick, Strutter.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, same here. I saw the lineup and I went, oh, Strutter. Like, it didn't even faze me. Didn't even have to think about it for both the panel's pick and my pick. It was just Strutter all the way. How could it not be? So that's what I'm going with.
Okay. I predicted that the panel is going to choose Strutter. And my pick is I'm going to be the oddball, and my pick is Room Service.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Brant's coming out swinging.
Yeah. I like Room Service. I think it's a great way to start the album. And Strutter, to me, honestly, if you've watched any of my previous videos, it's a song that has never been up there for me. The studio version, the live version, it's one of those songs that, and this is my opinion, I've just never really got what everybody likes about it. It's got some cool riffs and stuff in it and everything, but I've just never really got it. So that's just it. So let's see who picked Strutter as their favorite. And I meant to mention, I want to talk about who's on the panel. I missed that. So let me back up just for a second. We usually do this before we start picking. So we have myself, Rob, and Carla, and we have Xander from Kiss Army Things, Emily Graziano, K.A. Collector, Justin Churchy Hansen, David King, Tom Dust, Steve Hardy, Jason Flom from the Music of Kiss, Roger Bennett, Zetro 75, Hayden Melesky, M-A-L-E-S-K-Y, Melsky, Jesse Ray Music, Sublime, Starman, 2112 of Kings, Rick from It's All For You Demon, Jeremy Kimona, Super Kiss, Jay Reed, Hard Rock Reverie, Matthew from MD Smith Comics, and Tony P. So that's 24 panelists. So the highest a song can score is 24 points. So you've heard our picks. Who picked Strutter? Xander, Emily Graziano, K.A. Collector, Justin Churchy Hansen, David King, Tom Dust, Steve Hardy, Roger Bennett, Zetro, Hayden, Starman, Rick, Jeremy Kimona, Super Kiss, Jay Reed, Hard Rock Reverie, MD Smith Comics, and Tony P. Who picked Room Service? Me, Jason Flom, right on, Jason, and Jesse Ray, and Sublime. So the cool kids picked. The cool kids picked. We know where it's at. We know it's Room Service. But so that's 20-4. 20-4. Rob, you predicted right. Landslide. 20-4. Not a total knockout, but close. So Strutter, 20-4. So moving on to track 2. Nothing to Lose and Two Timer.
I really like Two Timer, but with my cardboard cutout boy back here, having sung it, Peter has sung it, being a drummer, I got to go with Nothing to Lose. It's the first single from the first album, the oldest song from Kiss, if you want to say that as far as release single. I'm going to think everybody's going to pick, or not everybody, by popularity, it's going to be Nothing to Lose. There's something about that song that's, and you're the first time getting to hear Peter Criss sing. So now you've got Gene, you just heard Paul, then you've got two people singing this, and you're like, whoa, that's kind of cool. So Nothing to Lose.
Yeah, same here. I just, there's something about Nothing to Lose that Kiss fans just really gravitate to, and they should. It's a good song. It's spicy at times, but it's good, and it's fun, and it's a good second song to have on the debut album. Like, it's a good song to have after Strutter, I think. So yeah, I think both, again, for my choice and the panel, it's going to be Nothing to Lose.
Okay. I agree. Nothing to Lose is a cool song because it's back when it has that element to it when Kiss was still dangerous, and you see some of the photo shoots and some of the early Kiss stuff, and Kiss was dangerous. And they were very much not a kids band. They were very dangerous, and Nothing to Lose, the content of what Nothing to Lose is about, and the combined voices, hearing Peter coming in singing, hearing Paul and Gene and Peter all having that group gang vocal where they're singing verses together. It's a great song. So I predict that the panel is going to choose Nothing to Lose, and my pick is Nothing to Lose. Two Timer is a good song. I just think that it's not the caliber of song that Nothing to Lose is, because I'm like Rob. I do like Two Timer.
Mhm.
I think it's got some really cool parts in it. I just think when paired up against Nothing to Lose, it's not a competition as far as I'm concerned. All right, so who picked? Who picked Nothing to Lose? Xander did, Emily did, David King did, Tom Dust did, Steve Hardy did, Jason Flom, Zetro, Sublime, Jeremy Kimona, Jay Reed, and let's see, is that it? And let's see, Jay Reed, MD Smith, and Tony P. So Two Timer, K.A. Collector, Justin Churchy Hanson, Roger Bennett, Hayden Mowski, Jesse Ray, Starman, Rick, Super Kiss, Hard Rock Reverie. So if you can add real quick, that gives Two Timer 9 points, and that leaves Nothing to Lose with 15 points. So still a good win, but a little closer on that one. And I think, Rob, you kind of thought that this one might have been a close between the two of these as well.
Yeah.
All right. So track number 3, Firehouse versus Ladies in Waiting.
I think Firehouse will run away with it. That being said, I cannot stand this version of the song on the album. I love the song on Alive. It is so slow. There, I spoiled our episode. I went Ladies in Waiting. I think there's just a groove and a slickness to that song. So that was my pick. I went with the Ladies, and I'll let the Firehouse, burn for a while.
Yeah, it was hard. Some of these songs I had to really remember, like, I can't base it off a live release. Like, I have to base it off the debut album. Because I do agree about Firehouse with that. But Ladies in Waiting is a song that I always forget about. Like, I have to listen to, because I'm like, I don't even remember what it sounds like, because it just goes in one ear, out the other for me. So again, this was like not even I didn't even have to really think about it. It was just Firehouse across the board for both the panel and myself.
All right. Rob, what did you predict and what did you pick?
Oh, I picked Ladies, and I predict Firehouse by a landslide.
So you picked Ladies for you, and you predict Firehouse. Okay.
Yeah.
My prediction is Firehouse for this one, and my pick is Firehouse for this one. Everybody who watches my show, has watched for a while, knows that I love Firehouse. This is not my favorite version of Firehouse, but and I do agree with Rob. It suffers the slowness that other songs on the first album suffer, but I still love it. Paul Stanley, it's one of my favorite songs by Paul. It's in my top 10. And it is tame compared to the versions that they do later on, but it's a great song to me. It's the song itself is great. All right. So are we split, or did we all decide the same thing? I can't remember. See, we all Rob picked Ladies in Waiting,
I picked
and Carla
Ladies.
picked Firehouse.
Mhm.
All right. So also Firehouse is Xander, Emily, K.A. Collector, Justin, David, Tom, Steve. No, not Tom. David, Steve, Jason Flom, Hayden, Jesse, Sublime, Starman, Jay Reed, and I got to scroll down. I get to where I have to scroll down. Hard Rock, Matthew, and Tony P. It's a lot of people.
The cool people.
The cool
Yeah.
people. The cool people, Rob.
I'm the drummer. I'll sit in the back.
She said it. She said it, not me. And Ladies in Waiting, other than Rob, is the other losers are Tom. I'm kidding. Tom Dust, Roger Bennett, Zetro, and I can't say that about AJ because he's in the chat. he'll reach through the screen and grab my neck.
Yeah.
And Rick from It's All For You Demon, Ladies in Waiting. So maybe
I knew I was one of the cool kids.
Carla, maybe
Rick.
me and you are on the loser side.
Yeah, whatever Rick picked, yeah, you got to go with Rick. So yeah.
Once Rick enters the room, all of a sudden that room is cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep.
Jeremy Kimona, Super Kiss, and that's it. So that is a total of 7 for Ladies in Waiting, 17 for Firehouse. So it wasn't quite the wipe down, but it was a 10-point win.
Yeah.
All right. So did you put this one up? So you've been to the mall, kid?
No, I did. No, I didn't. Angelo had said, I don't know if I put that up, but they sped up Firehouse and double platinum.
Yeah,
and
they did.
That version feels really good. It's a nice mix. It's not overly fast like it's played live sometimes where they run away with it, but it's got a little bit more of a steady swagger to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me going. Don't get me wrong. I love Firehouse, singing at the top of my lungs every time, but it was just the feeling that I wanted a little bit of pep. So anyway.
Yeah. My favorite part of Firehouse always is whether it's live or whether it's whatever, but it's the very first time they go, "Get the Firehouse." The very first time they say that in that song, it always is it gives me goosebumps. It's just a magical part of that song. All right. So Firehouse 17 over Ladies in Waiting with 7. It's track 4. This is interesting. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Ace against Ace, kinda, sorta. But it's really Gene against Peter, but it's still Ace against Ace. So Cold Gin versus Getaway.
I don't want to play.
Some people are like, I don't want to choose.
Yeah, this one was tough. Probably out of all the songs that we're going to talk about, this was the roughest one. So I think by popularity contest is going to go with Cold Gin. It's classic. It's been played forever. And Kiss only had played it a little bit, in more recent years and like Kiss cruises and things like that. But it's Mick. Yeah. Getaway. I went with Cold Gin. I love Getaway, but there's just something about Cold Gin, even though we talked on our show, it suffers from being slow. This song works at that slow crawl pace, and it's just and we even said that it would have been so cool if Ace would have got over his fear of singing early. This would have been an Ace lead vocal on the first album. Just it's such a great song.
Yeah.
So the panel is going to go Cold Gin, and I'm going to go Cold Gin.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally have nothing to add because that was exactly what I was going to say. Pretty much all of that.
He does that, Carla.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I feel about it too. I've always felt that Cold Gin was just a little slow on this album. Like it just, like when you used to have cassette tapes and you'd like wear them out and the songs would get slower. That's just what this always sounded like to me. But now I think about it and I'm like, well, maybe that makes it sound good because it's like, when you get drunk and sloppy, you get a little slower. So maybe that even adds to it a little bit. But yeah, this was kind of a weird one to put up against one another. But I think both, again, me and the panel, going to go with Cold Gin.
Cold Gin is at bar speed.
Yeah, it's at last call speed. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the same. My prediction is Cold Gin. My pick is Cold Gin. Cold Gin is just one of those. It's a classic, and I do that in my head too, where I will listen to Cold Gin and I imagine Ace singing the song.
Yeah.
When you hit the word quart, time to leave and get another quart.
Yeah.
And I've even done it with Getaway. Could you imagine Ace singing Getaway? It's hard to. We love the way Peter sings it, and it's one of Peter's signature songs. But it'd be very interesting to hear Ace sing that song, and that's what Darklight said. What he's saying there, it'd be cool to have Ace redo that, and it might not sound as great now, but it's definitely his voice is lower, and swims all over the place with his melodies. But so let's see who picks. Let's see who picked what. So see if it's a landslide or if it's not. So KA collect for Cold Gin, KA Collector, Justin, David, Tom, Steve, Jason, Roger, Zetro, Hayden, Starman, Sublime, Jeremy Cremona, and Super Kiss, Jay Reed, Hard Rock Reverie, MD Smith, Tony P. That is quite a list. Getaway, who were the dark horses? Xander, Emily Graziano, Jesse Ray Music, and Mr. Demon, Rick from It's All For You Demon, all had the balls to choose Getaway.
I mean, Mick is right. I know both Brant and you and I have talked about this, I think on a Rosemont episode. Peter's drumming is so good on Getaway.
Yeah.
It is some of his best playing he's ever recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fantastic. But there's something about Cold Gin that you could put both of those songs side by side, like live, and I think Cold Gin's just going to get the resounding win. There's I don't know. You can't say the word classic enough for Cold Gin.
Right. And the thing about when it comes to Dress to Kill as an album, you could tell that these guys had been on the road constantly for a year, and they were writing about what they were experiencing with some songs like Room Service, Ladies in Waiting, and stuff like that. But just the musicianship, the production of Dress to Kill is better, and the musicianship, they're just all so tight, just all of them. They're all so tight. And I love one of the things on Getaway that I love, and we don't want to harp on it too much and move on, but Gene's bass lines. Whenever Peter just starts singing, I've been trying to get away, Gene's like doing like do 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 do. He's like real high. And then when he goes to many times I've been alone, Gene drops down and starts going like do 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 do. He drops down. And Gene, I've said it before, is just one of those very underrated bassists. He really doesn't get Paul gets credit for being a great songwriter and a great singer and a great frontman. Ace gets the credit for being a rocker and the solos that you can remember and you can sing. Peter gets credit for being sometimes I think Peter don't get enough credit, and Gene definitely doesn't get enough credit. Because I think Gene and Peter are both great musicians that they just don't get a lot of credit that they deserve. So you saw that was a whole lot of Cold Gin picks. So Getaway only had 4 votes.
Wow.
So Cold Gin won with 20, the same difference between Strutter and Room Service. You had Cold Gin with 20, Getaway with 4. So last track on the first side of the album, we got track number 5. Rock Bottom, Let Me Know, and Rock Bottom.
This one's not fair.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not fair. And if the needle jumped on my album and Rock Bottom was going up against Cold Gin, I would still pick Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom is a fantastic song. And where this song really got to shine was when they started doing it acoustically, and you went, oh, holy cow. Like, yeah, it has a acoustic intro that's on the studio, and you get the rocker version, even on a live is great. But when they stripped the whole thing down to acoustic on MTV Unplugged, that's where this song really got to shine. And I know we're not talking about Unplugged, but this song is great. It smacks the crap out of Let Me Know. So a fantastic song, one of my favorites. So I think the panel's going to pick it, and I'm picking it.
Yeah, for me, this was the first time that I really had to think before my answer. And it was just one of those where it's like, okay, today it's going to be this, and tomorrow it could be that. Like, it was just how I was feeling the day that I did this, because I think they're both so good. And I think Rock Bottom is one of the best songs on Dress to Kill. I think that's one of the songs that really carries this album and really just puts it out there in terms of an album to listen to by Kiss. Because like I said, I think it gets overshadowed. So this is just definitely a good song to have on Dress to Kill. But this is the first time that I'm going to split, and I am picking Let Me Know, because that's just what I felt like that day. Today, I probably would have done Rock Bottom. I'm going to say Let Me Know, and I think the panel is going to go with Rock Bottom.
Really quick before you answer, Brant, my mind is remembering this correctly. Isn't the outro of this that they would used to play for Watching You, and then later became more known as the outro for She? Is that right? That Let Me Know, is it done out, done out, done out, done out? Okay.
Yeah. You're right. That's one thing that I love about what they did when they did Alive, is they redid a lot of the songs and they added things to them and moved some things around. Like, for example, Rock and Roll All Night, which we not got to that yet, but Rock and Roll All Night on Dress to Kill doesn't even have a solo.
Right.
Right.
And they added a solo to it. So they really kind of remixed a lot of some of the stuff on Alive, and that become the standard for those songs. My pick is my prediction is Rock Bottom. I think that Rock Bottom is just too much of a staple of a Kiss song. They don't do it anymore, but they did it a whole lot, and I just think that it was a song that it was just going to be the one to win. But my pick personally was Let Me Know, because I love Let Me Know, and I love the Gene and Paul trading. I love the way Paul comes in. He just comes in on fire, and when he is singing, especially the second part of that first verse, he's just on fire, and his voice sounds so great. And that's the Paul. That's the beginning of the Paul that I love when it comes to his singing. And it's a song that had been around for a while. So, it was the one that they had in their pocket.
And you definitely hear the Beatles influence. I know Gene is such a huge Beatles fan, and I know that the Beatles played such a huge role in Gene's life in terms of becoming a musician. So you really hear that on this song, but it's still a Kiss song, if that makes sense. Like if the Beatles did Kiss, it would kind of be that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It could be a Beatlesque song, like they said. All right, so let's see. I'm going to click over to my thing here. Let's see who chose what, because I think this could be close.
Yeah.
All right, so Let Me Know. We have Xander, Emily Graziano, Jesse Ray Music, Rick from It's All For You. No, wait a minute. I'm reading the wrong ones. I'm like, wait a minute. All right, so Let Me Know. Xander, Emily Graziano, Justin Churchy Hansen, Jason Flom, AJ Zetro, Jesse Ray Music, Rick from It's All For You Demon, Jeremy Kimona, and that is it. Rock Bottom, we had K.A. Collector, David King, Tom Dust, Steve Hardy, Roger Bennett, Hayden, Sublime, Starman, Super Kiss, Jay Reed, Hard Rock Reverie, MD Smith Comics, and Tony P. Close, very close. I don't know if y'all are done the math that fast, but the loser with 10 points is Let Me Know.
I'm a drummer. I can't count.
So that's stuff. You can count to 4, and
Well,
sometimes 6, sometimes 8.
6. Right.
Sometimes 8. But this is the first one that the debut album loses.
Wow.
Let Me Know lost to Rock Bottom by 4 points. And I think that is as close as it gets the rest of the album. Just kind of spoiler alert. It may be, that's about as close as it gets the rest of the album. So track number 5 was Rock Bottom was the winner with 14 points. Let Me Know 10. So flipping the vinyl, and we're coming to Kissin' Time versus Come On and Love Me.
No contest. Kiss didn't even want the song on the album. Come on and love me is the stronger song. That's my pick. I think that's where the panel is going to go. I think Kiss in Time is one of those. If this was on a compilation somewhere down the line, like a double platinum, I'd have been like, hey, that's a cool song. It seems displaced. Like the band's called Kiss. We're going to have Kiss in Time, hint, hint, wink, wink. It was a hit for somebody else. Why don't you guys go record it? There's a reason why the first pressing of the album is worth so much money, because it's not on it. I'm not bagging on the song, but Come On and Love Me is a far superior song, and it's written by the actual band. So Come On and Love Me for both.
Yeah, same here. I hate Kiss in Time. I hate it. It's awful. I feel like it should be flop though. Like I feel like that should be on Dress to Kill, and Come On and Love Me should be on the debut. It just
that would really fatten up the album, wouldn't it?
Right? I just feel like it just is. It's so out of place on the debut, but I feel like it'd be more in place on Dress to Kill. So I think they should be swapped. But at the end of the day, I didn't even have to look at what was up against Kissing Time, because I just knew whatever it was, that's what I was going to put. Because I hate it so much. So Come On and Love Me for both the panel and myself.
I predicted Come On and Love Me, and my pick, Come On and Love Me. I don't hate Kissin' Time. It's one of those songs that has kind of grown on me a little bit, but it's probably my second least favorite song on the album. It's definitely in the bottom two on the debut. So yeah, that's really all I've got to say about it. Like I said, I think it'd be very interesting if, like, I think it would have been cool. This kind of was thrown around in some of the Kiss circles when swirling around the release of the 50th anniversary. I think it would have been cool if they would have released a version without Kissin' Time, like a true 50th anniversary release, no Kissin' Time on it.
Sublime said it right there. She's a dancer, a romancer. That line alone beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, and like I said, I know we spin off into the cornfields every once in a while, but have you guys seen where they said that somebody said, Paul said he's a dancer, a romancer, I'm a Capricorn, she's a Cancer, but if you look at his birth date, he's not actually a Capricorn?
No. Just had to get that rhyme in.
Yeah. I've never really looked it up. I've never really looked up, like, when does Capricorn start and when does it end? But I heard somebody say one time, he's a Capricorn, he's a Cancer. He's not actually a Capricorn. But I mean, I don't know. That could just be fake news. Rob's looking it up right now.
I am, yeah.
All right. So while he's looking that up, we're gonna talk about who picked Kissin' Time. Let me see.
No one. You can't say the answer because no one picked it.
No one picked it. The landslide that you were looking for, Rob, you have it. Come On and Love Me. I don't even need to read the names because everybody chose Come On and Love Me 24-0.
As they should.
Right.
You guys, y'all make me laugh. Paul's a prancer. He's a dancer, I'm a romancer, I'm a prancer, and she's a Cancer. Does anybody think Kissin' Time should be on Harder Than Nail?
No, it shouldn't be on any album, to be honest.
I'm surprised that they never pulled one of those things where they took it off. Just like it was never intended to be on there to begin with. So they just reached a certain point in the catalog where they're like, okay, we're going to re-release this, and we're on this release from moving forward, it's not going to be on the album anymore. And they just took it off. I'm an Aquarius and she's a Sagittarius. Yeah, it doesn't flow off the tongue quite right.
No.
All right. Did you find out, Rob?
No, I'm still looking. Well, I'll look a little bit.
All right. So Come On and Love Me. So great. I love Come On and Love Me. It is just a great song. Can't say enough about it. All right, so here we go. Track number 7, Deuce against Anything for My Baby.
Is there another landslide in this? I mean, it's Deuce. It's the opening song for a long time. It became song 2. Then in some weird latter days, it became like song 7, song 9, which really seems weird. Deuce, Deuce across the board. Deuces.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Deuces. I mean, it's just one of those songs that only a few songs I think could go up against this song and have a chance. Otherwise, it's just always going to be Deuce. So again, across the board, me in the panel, Deuce.
Yeah. You can hear Stevie Nicks, landslide.
Landslide, bring it down. My prediction, Deuce. My pick, Deuce. So let's see if anybody picked Anything for My Baby. Any thoughts about Anything for My Baby while I'm looking?
It's a cool song, but it's not cooler than Deuce, that's for sure.
That's exactly right.
Let me tell you what I think about Anything for My Baby. I love the verses. I just don't like the chorus. It gets very repetitious and that rolling on the toms. But Paul during the verse with the guitar that they have going and the little bit of acoustic they have mixed in there, Paul's voice sounds so great. Peter does a little couple tap tap, couple double taps on the drums. That part, it's just the Anything for My Baby gets a little long, but yeah, mixed up heading up against Deuce. This is like, it's like, no competition here as far as I'm concerned. But Deuce did have Anything for My Baby did have some picks.
Did it really?
Yes,
they're all wrong.
It is not
No,
a KO. Deuce put Anything for My Baby on the ropes, but did not knock it out. We have 2 people that chose Anything for My Baby. It is Super Kiss and Xander from Kiss Army.
Xander, really?
You know how Xander is.
I know how Xander. I'm even drinking a Moneybag soda for you, bro. Wow.
He picks stuff sometimes just to piss people off.
I think so. That's probably why I have cream soda last. No.
Everybody else, I don't need to say your names. Everybody else picked Deuce 22-2.
Wow.
All right. Now, speaking of landslides, track number 8, Love Theme from Kiss versus She.
I don't want to have to say it. She. Across the board. She. Carla.
I will say it. This was the hardest one for me to do. And in fact, on my notes, it's like crossed out and I kept going back and forth because I am one of the few that I love Theme from Kiss. I love it. I know it's not Acrobat. I know it's not the whole thing. I know. But I love it. I love that they did an instrumental on their debut album. I think that's kind of ballsy to do that because you obviously, like, this is your first introduction. Like, you want to have your vocals out, you want to have your lyrics out, but for them to just do an instrumental, I thought was really cool. And again, I know it's not Acrobat, it's not the whole thing, but I love Theme from Kiss. Like, it's like a great song in the summer. You just like driving in your car or whatever. It's just like kind of jammy. I don't know. I love it. So I really kept going back and forth between these two. But ultimately, again, it was just the day I was doing this. I went with She, and I think the panel is going to go with She as well. So She.
Like we said on our show, the Love Theme from Kiss is that leftover, and I should say leftover because they pull some Wicked Lester stuff in, but where they're like, we're musicians, we want to show that we can play and we can be artsy. This is, we're thinning the thread to the elder somewhere far away.
Yeah. That's
And don't get me wrong, I like the song, but up against She. Yeah.
Right. Well, first I'll say my prediction and my pick. My prediction is She. My pick is She. I can't say enough good things about She that hasn't already been said. Everybody knows everything that's good about She. how creepy it sounds. The opening line, "She walks by moonlight." It's it's the only other better opening line from Gene. One of the opening lines from Gene is "Limping as you do from watching you." So it's one of those mystic, dark horror type songs that Gene paints, and I love it. I'm here for it. I love when he does it, and she's one of those, and the little breakdown it has, and it's even more spookier on Alive. Just the whole aura of Alive has that feel to it. Love theme from Kiss. What I think that I'm not opposed to them having an instrumental on their first album. I'm not the biggest fan of instrumentals. Instrumentals on albums in the 70s was really big. And there was bands that did entire like early prog rock instrumental type songs. Focus, one of those bands and stuff like that. They even had yodeling in their songs.
Yeah.
Thank God, thank God Kiss didn't go that route.
But they would have if the money was right.
They saved that for the elder.
True.
But what I would have done is, I don't know why that Acrobat was such a crowd favorite. You hear any of the old stuff, they're playing it and going into the much too young part of it. I don't understand why they cut it short and then left enough room on the album to add something like Kissin' Time. Why didn't they go with 9 tracks and have it all the way where we got everything and it was called Acrobat? But I like Love Theme from Kiss. I don't like the name, the whole, because you got Kissin' Time and you've got Love Theme from Kiss. It's like, is that the best you could do? Is that the most creative? Nobody really, why didn't they just name it Acrobat? I guess because if some people had heard Acrobat live, they'd been like, oh, they cut the back off of it or whatever. So I don't know, but I think it would just been, if they would have named it anything else, like, instrumental, it would have been. Love Theme from Kiss is just that extra. They just got the cheese grater out and was just kept going and going and going and going with the cheese grater. But I'm picking, my pick is She. So let's see if anybody picked Love Theme from Kiss. Let me look.
Cricket.
One person.
Really?
One person kept it from being a knockout. Justin Churchy Hansen.
It was almost 2. I had it written down. I crossed it out at the last minute. It was almost 2.
You just couldn't do it, could you, Carla?
I couldn't. I want to be the girl in She. I want to be her. So I just didn't do it.
But I remember from our previous things that you always did like Love Theme from Kiss. So
I always picked it.
I actually thought that you were going to go in that direction with it. I was kind of surprised when I saw your
This
pick.
might be the first time I haven't. I mean, I always go with that.
You always did. You always went with that.
And Great Expectations off Destroyer. Always went with that.
Always with Great Expectations. I don't care what it goes against. It's always going to be Great Expectations.
Always going to win. Yep.
God, and we put Destroyer up against everything. I think we put Destroyer up against almost every album in the catalog, and sometimes it would still win with only 9 tracks.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us, we're coming around to the final stretch. These last 2 they were tough for me. 100,000 Years versus Lover All I Can.
I remember the day. I love Lover All I Can. And we said it on our show. I have fatigue with 100,000 Years because I feel like they just drilled that song into the end of the road. We've been down the set list topic for a long time. I think this is also, while it's a great song, I think it suffers from speed a little bit. I like Peter's drumming in it. It's cool, but there's just something dun it. Just the whole buildup of Love All I Can. It's got a cowbell in it. I mean, come on. There's a great version. It's blanking the Ace Frehley tribute album that Carl Cochran and Eric Singer do a version of this that's just fantastic with Carl Cochran that would launch Eric Singer's ESP project, but that's another story for another day. But Love Her All I Can. I think the panel's probably going to go with 100,000 Years, but the cool kids should pick Love Her All I Can like me.
Yeah, I just went with 100,000 Years for both. I don't know. Again, it might have just been the day I was doing this, because I could definitely go either way with these songs. It's just one of those where it's like you put them up against each other and they're both great, but then when you put them up next to each other, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is actually kind of hard to do. But yeah, I just went across the board for both myself and the panel, and I said 100,000 Years.
All right. My prediction, 100,000 Years. My pick, Love Her All I Can. Everything that Rob said, the way it just starts off simple, builds, grows, and then just that riff, that da-na, bump, bump, ba na 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 bump, bump, bump. That's so syncopated, and Peter doing the cowbell with the little stutter on the snare. Just they had just grown so much, and Love Her All I Can is another one of those songs. Singing together on the verse, kind of in a group, gang vocals, and then Paul coming in real strong vocals on the solo or on the chorus, and then the solo. You have a really kind of cool solo on it, little breaks before the solo, and then that whole bump 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 bump, and then that solo and the breakdown and Peter getting his little feels. I mean, this song's fire, man. Love Her All I Can is, and 100,000 Years is a great song too. But I'm kind of like with Rob. I tried to not listen as fatigue wise. But when I sat down, what I do with this, the way I've always done it, is I listen to one song and then I listen to the other, and I go, I'd rather listen to this one. And like Carla said, it could change next week, next day, later in the day.
Yeah.
It could change. This is where I was at this point in time. So my pick was Love Her All I Can. So let's see who wins. 100,000 Years. Who picked it? It's hard for me to see because my thing won't let me scroll over this far. K.A. Collector, David King, Steve Hardy, Jason Flom, Roger Bennett, AJ Zetro, Hayden, Jesse, Sublime. I think Sublime picked it. Yep, Sublime. Super Kiss, Jay Reed. That's a lot of picks for 100,000 Years. Hard Rock Reverie, MD Smith Comics, and Tony P. So, Love Her All I Can. Xander, Emily Graziano, Justin Churchy Hansen, Tom Dust, Starman, Rick, and Jeremy Kimona. So you add that up. That is 9 to 15.
To not enough.
Not enough. So 100,000 Years wins. And I think there's a lot of nostalgia in that vote.
Yeah. Totally get it.
100,000 Years wins over Love Her All I Can, but only by 6 points. So, all right. So, last track on the album, Black Diamond versus Rock and Roll All Night.
I'm out on the street for a living. The picture has only begun. Black Diamond. Rock and Roll All Night is such an iconic song for the band, but I don't think the Rock and Roll All Night that we all know and love becomes that song until the next album. This is good. I feel like as they were writing this, they had a great idea there. It was just not fully flushed out. I think them taking the song out on the road, it becomes what we know. But Black Diamond is such a killer song. It's even in the lyrics of a song. It's telling you can close your eyes and see the movie of this song and want to know what is Black Diamond? What is that thing about? So I'm rambling here. Black Diamond. I'm going to go out on a limb for the panel and for me.
Not for me, but I don't know what it is about Black Diamond. Like, there's so many things about the song that I should love. I love the name. I love the end. I love how it gets slow, all that stuff. But for some reason, this song just doesn't, it just, like you said earlier, Brian, I forget what song it was. Was it maybe Strutter, where you were like, I just never got it.
Strutter.
I just never got it. And that's how I feel about Black Diamond. There's so many things about the song I should love, but for some reason, I just can't get into it. And even with Rock and Roll All Night not being a live version that we all know and love, or most of us know and love, even without having a guitar solo, I still went with Rock and Roll All Night over Black Diamond. So me personally, I'm going to say Rock and Roll All Night, but 100% I think the panel chose Black Diamond. I think it's going to be kind of a runaway.
My prediction was Rock and Roll All Night, and my pick was Black Diamond. But I agree with you. It's Rock and Roll All Night. The version of Rock and Roll All Night that I like better is not on this album.
Right.
It's not on Dress to Kill, because it's like you say, it's not fully flushed out. It's doesn't even have a solo. It is just so short. And it just gets repetitive, but then repeating the chorus over and over and over. It doesn't really have a proper ending. It's just a fade out. So it didn't really become the anthem that they wanted it to be until the live version was released, and then they never quit playing it. And Black Diamond is a song that I just love so much. I love this version. It's one of the songs that I think. There's a lot of songs that I don't like the version of on the first album, but when it comes to songs like Nothing to Lose, Let Me Know, Deuce, 100,000 Years, and Black Diamond, I think those songs are perfect on the first album. They're played at the right speed. The production quality suits the feel and the theme of the song. And Black Diamond, my favorite part about Black Diamond is at the end where it kind of stops. And then Peter has the whole do, do, do. And then Ace goes into that blues solo. When I hear that happen and you hear Paul picking the rhythm, the guitar that's under in it, and Gene just playing those long bass notes, goosebumps. I mean, and it happens on the very first album and happens on every, I remember when I was sitting and watching my last show that me and Rob were at together, when it got to Black Diamond, I was like, here it is. This is it. And when they hit that, even though it wasn't my spaceman up there playing, even hearing it played so well, I will give Tommy props on that. That night, Tommy was on fire. We said this in our video. The whole band was on fire, but Tommy was on fire. He was nailing Ace's solos, and it was just great. So that's just why I picked Black Diamond to me. So let's do the final count here. Let's go with, let's count Rock and Roll All Night first. So other than Carla, Rock and Roll All Night was picked by Emily Graziano.
Ooh.
So you're in good company. It was picked by Jason from the Music of Kiss. You're in good company there. And it was also picked by Tony P.
Nice.
But that's all you got.
Really? Wow.
So Black Diamond was everybody else. 20 people, 20 to 4. So it's the same level of winning as Strutter versus Room Service and Cold Gin versus Getaway. So Black Diamond.
I knew you said there wouldn't be a close one after we had that last one, but I thought if there was going to be a close one, it'd have been this two, or these two songs. It
really did surprise me that Rock and Roll All Night only got 4 votes from 24 people. It only got barely, 20, not even 20%.
Yeah.
So that makes the total tracks that the debut album won is 7, and Dress to Kill is 3. So it's a 7-3 beating with so And did that play out exactly like you guys thought it would? I think Rob, I thought you thought it might be a little closer.
I thought it might be a little bit closer. It's funny, like all the things that us Kiss fans would say at the concert. Why are they playing Strutter? Why are they playing this? Why they ought to play when it comes time to pick a song? It's like Strutter, Deuce, Cold Gin, Black Diamonds. There's a reason why these songs are the foundation and the bedrock. And some of us diehards will go, well, I'm gonna pick this way. I thought it might be closer, but when you take the step back from it, you go, there's a reason the first album is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes debut was going to be 3 and debut was going to be 7 and Dress to Kill was going to be 3. So I
called it.
Yeah, I just that's just how I thought it was going to go. I don't know. I just kind of knew that it was going to be a debut kind of runaway up against Dress to Kill, but not a full runaway. Not a full runaway, but yeah.
I thought it was going to be 6-4. I honestly thought that Dress to Kill was going to win Rock and Roll All Night. I thought it was going to be 6-4. So right there, almost split 50-50. So yeah. So well, this was definitely fun. It was good having Carla back.
Yeah.
And Carla, I hope that you at some point in time, if you see a track listing versus up against something come out, I'm gonna kind of go back to doing some Kiss ones, but there's a bunch of the ones that I pulled out of the jug that's down here below me. I can't get to it, but where it was suggestions that people sent in of some really good 80s albums. I know a lot of us love the 80s and some really good 80s albums tracking against each other. And even some of the same bands, like the a Motley Crue album against a Motley Crue album, or a Rat album against a Rat album. So you are more than welcome to come back anytime. All you have to do when it's convenient for you and it's a one that you want to be in on, you just shoot me a message and let me know and say, hey, I'd like to be in on that, and we'll do it like just like this.
Yeah, just let me know when and where, and I'll be there.
Yep. So are you still very active on your Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, it's a private account. Like, it's nothing. It's just me, and
right.
So it's nothing like big. But something is in the works. I can't really say what it is, but I'll give you a clue. So something is fizzling in the works. So maybe the next time I do a video, things will be more developed and I can talk about it more. But something will be happening soon.
Okay. Well, I was trying to maybe do because I try to give people at least a week or two to vote and give me a couple days to compile. I was actually compiling, or as early as this morning, I had a couple people say, I think Emily and Tony and Matthew all gave me their stuff today. Even though the cutoff was Friday, I let them squeeze because they're longtime viewers of the show. And I think, Tony hasn't been on the show, but Emily and Matthew have both been on the show. And so I'm trying to do maybe one to two of these a month. And it's just real easy for me to do. And I've had so many people messaging me and putting in the comments, I'm glad you're doing these again. I missed them so much. I'm glad you're doing the lives where we can just all kind of get together and hang out and talk to each other. And so Xander was supposed to be here. He ended up having to cancel at the last minute. He had something come up and he wasn't able to make it. But he definitely will maybe be in the next one. And I'm going to try to dig up some people that have been in previous videos in the past. And that's what I kind of wanted to do this year, was have kind of a year, since this is my 6th year, have a year of kind of going back and saying, hey, you did some videos with me. You want to do some more? And I was able to get Carla to agree, and I'm so happy. And hopefully, like I said, we'll find a way to do some more.
Definitely.
So just keep an eye on the social media. Keep an eye on the YouTube, the Facebook, not the Facebook, the YouTube, the Instagram, and the X for the X for the for the polls that'll come out, and then put in your votes. And so we wait to hear that news from Carla sometime in the future. And Rob, you want to do your quick quick podcaster plugs?
You can find me at RBTE Podcast. No, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. And we're doing something like you were talking about doing 80s. We're going to do a satellite show, and our topic is going to be the replacements, like David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar. And I'm the knucklehead that says Gary Sharon, or, like one of the topics, I'll spoil a little bit of it. The Motley Crue album that they did with John Corabi. I was like, fantastic album. But the guest that we're going to have on, I won't spoil that, was like, they should have just called the band something else. So our topic is going to be something along the line of, when is a band no longer that band? So that's what you can look for right between the eyes of it. We're primarily a Kiss podcast, but we like to sprinkle in little stuff from our eclectic view. So yeah, check us out.
Yep, definitely, for sure. All right, that's all we've got. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will be back in the near future with another track versus track video. I'm going to try to keep those live because I do love revealing live and everybody being in on the conversation. And I've got a couple other videos I'm working on kind of in the works. It'll just get sprinkled in here and there. Those will just be regular releases. So thanks for hanging out, everybody, and we will see you in the next one. All right. Thanks. And thanks to Carla, and thanks to Rob.